been proven.
It's locked and loaded?
It's almost. It is definitely locked.
Yeah.
It is about to be unloaded.
That's progress.
Yeah, no, we got these things settled down. He wants to make a larger plate so they don't fucking protrude on the sides and shit, but the base format plate is made and everything is fastened, more importantly.
Yeah.
So now anything I do upstairs is not gonna be moved like the next day because they forgot the day before, you know.
Yeah, that's smart though.
That's concreted. It took a little while, but we've got those and we've got also another set like ready to make for us. And once we get that and the actual bar.
Durlin, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm a little bit to turn it down. We've also got a new bar here, so I'm gonna put this together.
Yeah, the one we had was bent.
Doing more than sweet. I was just showing him like what it's gonna look like, and then I've got this other set like kind of halfway there, making sure that this one works out good. I put these where the existing holes were, like you said. Let it overhang like a 1/4 inch, nothing major. This could be left like this just for the prototype. But then if you have another plate, we'll just go like 1/2 inch on each side more, and then it'll be perfect. The oil filter points like underneath the intake. Okay. Yeah. I mean, do you have a filter? I'll just screw it on there and we'll check it for sure, because I think I got it on the holes right there. It looks like it fits. I'm looking, it looks like it goes.
If that fits, the oil filter is 99%.
Only way to find out is to try it.
It's a tight fit.
On there, yeah.
Mr. Gasket Maker.
He stole the idea from me.
Down. I don't know if you want us to.
Whoa, it's proprietary knowledge here.
Well, you like to beat on everything, man.
That's very accurate. Very unfair.
It was the manifold, the exhaust manifold. Look at that, perfect.
Hey, now, don't sue me, Mr.
Downpipe in place. What is this line from?
The drain.
Drain from?
Oil drain from the turbo.
Uh-huh.
Supposed to go forward, but right now it's just hanging out there.
Cat with.
Yeah.
Now people have been asking, can we make this 50 state legal, California legal, whatever? So that's the question. I mean, would it need a high performance cat? Could it use the factory cat and exhaust if someone wanted to do that, or
I don't
no?
think the factory catalytic will be adequate.
Yeah.
Because any motor you put in here, no matter what's done to it, it's going to make 300 or 400.
So what's that going to do to the cat? Like cook it?
Melt it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if it doesn't melt, it just doesn't
Well, what
flow.
are those high performance
flow
ones? Those are.
You could put a high flow, right?
We should make that an option for the. You know, put the muffler now, yeah, but like let's think about making that a part of the deal too.
I think that could all be done through the tuning as well.
Yeah.
But again, I mean that it's going to be critical of the fuel as well. Pump gas for E85.
You still come where I'm at. Come over here. You see what I mean? You gotta cut a slice out of it. It makes no difference. You're gonna have to cut a slice.
Okay.
Your line.
Cut it thinner.
Cut it thinner over
Okay.
here.
All right. I got you. It's always a challenge.
Your health insurance is up to date, right? Don't you lose your hand?
I'm gonna see how the left goes. If I can't control it.
You don't need your left hand, do you? Go hold it for him.
Oh yeah. Right. Which hand is least useful to you?
Back up a little more here.
Cancel boy.
Not gonna happen.
Nah. I'm gonna try it on the saw. Trick.
He's bringing out the big guns.
Let's see what this can saw off.
tape to
Gives me a guide.
your line.
Getting a 3-inch muffler, remember, this is a 3.5 pipe, so you'll be able to.
Yeah, still. I think it needs to be here. You know, if we put a positive post like what they have on the BMWs up in the front,
I might be able to convert that into that. Like if I could cut that and drill another hole, use the existing hole where the cable is, make like a bridge, and then that will be the post right there, and then I could use wires from there or there to the starter. And then I'll continue from the starter back with the same wire.
okay.
But instead of just running this from here to the thing, I'll just connect this first.
I'm gonna.
So the way that this ductwork came out here, there really is nowhere to put the battery up front anymore.
I don't think so. You could.
Unless you go with those small batteries.
Right, if you went with a small battery, yes. Because you could still put it like in the middle of the two fans, or off to one side, like on this side, above the filter section.
Right over there.
Yeah.
There's different places.
Or you can replace that tank as well, the windshield wiper tank.
That's true.
Depending on how often that's used or not.
Putting the battery in the back is better anyway, isn't it? I mean, it gives you
A quarter-mile weight transfer, maybe.
but as far as the heat, you're not.
Yeah, that too. But if it's an acid battery, it makes a difference. If it's a gel cell, it might not make that much. That's all snug. I'm gonna put some heat shrinks and stuff, but just for now, to forget the lengths. I'm gonna take them all apart and lay them on the floor. I'll heat shrink them real nice. Wire. This one. And this one is the AC compressor.
That one goes to the starter, the blue one. And this one you say you've taken care of?
Yeah. So I'm one of these two wires. I'm gonna move the spot here.
What does that go to? The alternator?
This is the alternator one that we replaced. Just using the block for now here. Because I gotta take off of this one for the power steering speed.
Okay.
I'm gonna see the length. So this one actually goes here.
That's coming from the battery?
This is coming from the block, from the alternator, feeding the block.
So it's that one there is coming from this
That
one?
one used to be this one, yeah.
Oh, gotcha. Got a lot bigger, what is it, gauge wire?
Yeah.
Don't want to...
This is ample. You could put 100, 200 amps. No problem. Because the battery's really far away, so if that decided to be the weaker link, this whole thing would get hot and melt down if this wire is real thin.
Right.
That and or if you have like a weak battery, It'll be hard for this to keep up charging it so far away, so off such a small line.
Sure.
This way, it should be a lot easier, less of a problem, less heat, a lot more conductivity. Everything works a lot easier when the gauge of the wire is a lot bigger, if you have enough power.
Only when it's hooked up an amp in their car, maybe.
Yeah, you figure it out the hard way.
I've caught a car on fire once.
Yeah,
It's got thick enough wire, and
it's got that total capability.
It
Yes.
up and melted. I started smelling the carpet burning. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
So I pull over and get the fire extinguisher.
That could get ugly fast. Yeah. Okay. I'll probably just pull it out and repin it. It looks real easy. We go get, I'm gonna lose the pin locations, but yeah, that down. Once I get the heat shrink stuff all ready, so I can start, because I have to do a relay for the radiator fans off the oil pressure switch, and I have to do a relay for the AC fans. Yeah, because we have 2, and now we have 4, and 2 used to do everything, and now 4 ain't doing it.
Yeah. Well, you got the 2 separate ones for the AC condenser or whatever.
Right, but that used to be cooled via the radiator too.
Right, yeah. Or shared heat.
Shared heat dissipator. Very failed unit.
See, the idea of building this car to survive Florida, it'll survive anywhere in the world, pretty much, you know?
Possibly, yeah.
Take it to,
Nigeria.
the Middle East, Dubai, wherever, Go blow away a few of the Lambos and Porsches over there with it.
Alright, I'm gonna take her up. See if we get that bottom one put on there. Once I get everything to length, because I gotta see how I'm gonna route everything, then I'll cut the tube in sections. Yeah, once I have it all, there's a lot of stuff missing still. And it's really hard to have that tube on there and add a wire in there.
Yeah.
I'll put all that stuff and put it with tie straps.
Right.
And I'll pull that whole thing out, and then I'll loom it and shrink it. Final process. Yeah, let's pick it up. I think we're ready now. Go with that one. Keep holding it up. Yeah, just hold it up right there. The ground of this whole system is somewhere up there. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get kind of crazy with it. Yeah, nah. I'm gonna make a ground block here. Is there a lid to this?
Yeah. About everything you can imagine in there. It fits.
We had a lot of time.
Look over here, man. The room you got.
Yeah. Well, if you see the one I did, you guys saw that.
Fuck that. You have to
We
get
did
it to the
with
firewall?
We did that and 2 wastegates.
Holy
my
shit.
goodness. Ugh. Why is it gonna need all that? Oh, because of the manifold.
I was do it on 2 double runners and 2 wastegates and stuff.
Yeah.
But
That's a lot
if
to
I
put
was
in there.
making, I should have done it after 46
Yeah,
or something like that.
I think this is gonna have an integral. It's not even gonna have an external.
Yeah, with all
I'm
the
sure you
new
can add
stuff,
it.
with the new one, what is it, the EFRs and stuff.
Yeah.
The controller boost really good.
I'm gonna do next week an FD with the 7670. That thing's a full go.
And is it a single or a dual?
It's a single.
Twin scroll?
It's a twin scroll.
Dual scroll. Yeah,
single.
that's what I had on my old shit.
But it's a little. It's a 7670. It's a
Yeah,
very
a
little
big
one.
cold wheel and a
It's very
tiny.
little, yeah. It's like a. I think the front is like a what? 61 or something like that.
Yeah, it's snappy.
I mean, the smallest one I used from them is the 8274, and that's full flat. This was a 70, whatever. It's just the one before. That one's bad.
A weekend. Play with the baby. Play with the baby.
Look out, Mr. Rico Suave.
Yeah. Yeah, baby putting on some pounds.
Cute.
Baby's putting on some pounds. Oh yeah, he eating good.
Yeah, man.
Eating good.
Future Vin Diesel, right?
That's good, man.
Mira, by process of elimination, it can only be that or that your nutrition planning is way too retarded. It can't be anything else.
You get the angle on that done?
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it now. I'm just looking at it. But I was gonna put a muffler here, but I decided against it today. I'm just gonna put a resonator because you know that blue car that we just did in your car doesn't have anything here. It just has a nice exhaust in the back. It's quiet enough. And on top of that, you got the turbo here, which the turbo kills the noise.
Yeah.
So in itself, a straight pipe would work.
Yeah.
You know, but we'll put a resonator just for to take out any raspiness or anything like that.
Yeah.
It'll flow better because this will allow me to come in at 3.5 and then reduce it to 3 over here rather than choke it down to 3 inches right here. I like to get some volume. I think that's one of the reasons why that Miata builds boost so quickly, because I've got a 3.5-inch downpipe to about here.
Yeah.
And then
that massive
so it's
thing.
very free flowing with the end.
Yeah.
Like from right there, I'm gonna go right here. I'm just gonna put a U so it's nice and out of the way from everything, so you still have access to get around. I can put it like right there, be in the way of everything. I'm gonna chop it off like right there, and then I'm gonna also grab it from right there on a double. We need 2 for right here, so I can start doubling back with the ground to the battery. So you got maximum juice to the car and maximum juice to the starter, straight from the battery. That's what we need. I think right there, I'm gonna cut it right now.
Here?
No. And then this guy, we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna jump off of this big one.
Oh, no.
We're gonna jump off of there.
It's fine there.
Anything up here? Just lock her down.
See, the cameraman sees things that the mechanics don't.
The angles, the angles. Spielberg.
I'm the director now of this
Yes.
project.
Please, somebody needs to.
You fuckers are gonna finish it this time. There's not gonna be another 6-month hiatus.
We're gonna stay busy. We busy. There we go. Work with us. Work with us, girl. Bring it around here to an acceptable location. We need to really take a better look at that. Because if we need to add a supply line, we need that routing as well.
Right.
It's not just a positive and a net, you know, and they start adding up. You add 3 things together, they're gonna look like a lump. That's what I'm saying, to route. We need to do the fuel and this battery all at once, not do the battery and undo all this and then have to undo all this again for the fuel.
Exactly. Built, wired, ready to go.
Sweet.
Found it?
Nice.
What?
Found the piece?
Whoa. Other pack connectors, they're all waterproof and
Yeah, they're waterproof. Yeah, it's a solid connection for years. I mean, every GM since 1990 probably is running around with that. And they're okay.
Looks good, man.
Everything's soldered, everything's heat shrinked.
So we're gonna have a wiring harness hopefully to go with the kit.
Yeah,
People
for
don't
sure.
have to figure this out on their own.
Yeah, no, the most they'll have to do is drill a couple holes and route cabling. That's about it. Everything will be supplied. I was just going to finalize this before I put the box back in there. But I think I'm gonna put it back in there. Right now, take a look at what it looks like.
Where are the fans on the bottom?
Those are for the AC. That cools the condenser there. That's like a radiator for the air conditioning.
Isn't that our intercooler?
Huh?
Isn't that the intercooler?
This is the intercooler.
Oh, that's
That's for the air conditioning. It has its own separate ducting and fans. So if you look underneath, it has the fins, you know, where it can like breathe. It also has ram air. It has its own intake coming from the front of the car, blowing straight on top of it, not hot air off the radiator or hot air off an intercooler. So the air conditioning on this thing's going to work like a Mercedes. Well, we're getting close. Not too much longer now.
The fans, they were originally wired, only 2 fans to run everything. The radiator, the condenser, everything. When we rewired and split up 2 fans for the condenser and 2 fans for the radiator, it's too much to run through the factory relays. You could try and jump it and wing it like that, but at some point, like on a hot day or on a bad ground, it'll short all of this out and the car's electrical will suffer. So instead what we did is we isolated this circuit and provided power straight from ground, fused of course, to these 2 relays. Each relay is for each pair of fans. The pair of fans for the radiator is turned on and off by oil pressure, not the key on or anything like that, or the factory sending unit or anything like that. The other one is activated by the on-off of the compression. So anytime you turn on the AC, the compressor turns on, the AC fans will turn on and off. That's pretty much it. Besides that, there's the factory wiring harness that needs to be moved over since the battery used to be located right here. Now it'll be located in the trunk. All of that has to be bridged in series and brought all the way forward with links from the chassis to the motor, from the motor to the frame, from the frame to the distribution block right here. And you know, some other wires have to be shortened and lengthened as well, like the power steering rack. Wires have to be extended about a foot. These have to be shortened like a foot or 2. Plus they also have to be spliced and jumped to trigger some of the relays, so that's why I left that for last. To like wire everything up and just have the triggers last to be able to check whether you're turning it off with power or off with ground. So I left all that open, but pretty much that covers everything, bringing everything up to speed. And you know, all the packs, I could have put all these wires together into 2 positives and 2 grounds, but that just overloads everything and bulks it up and makes the connection even faultier to make it even bigger with no butt connectors, nothing pressed, crimped, nothing like that. Everything's soldered, everything heat shrunk. So you
it's
can pretty much
overkill, huh?
Yeah, pretty much. You don't want to have any like issues from just the equipment itself or the hardware.
Well, when you're running an engine like this, the last thing you want is your electrical system to start
that's the
catching fire on you or something.
Yeah. If this had a carburetor on there and a handbrake, like you put your foot out the car, you'd be all right. But this car has a lot of electronics and it's very finicky. Anything that has a fuzzy logic computer, like what it's going to have, it's going to need some proper electronics.
Yeah.
So yeah, overkilling it with this stuff like that, you can have amp spikes, all types of surges, whatever, you're good to keep going. You know? It's not going to damage any of the intricate components of the car. That's pretty much it. There's a lot to like retrofit, but it's all been addressed. Everything's still in the factory locations, like the airbag deployment sensor and stuff like this. It's just still hanging until we finalize all the plumbing. I don't know, this car had a stereo system, I guess. Right?
Yeah.
I guess we're not gonna worry about that for now. I'll just leave it there for now, but I'm sure once the battery's in the trunk and all this stuff is already in place, you could just use the existing stuff to add a stereo if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Really can't see much from the bottom, but I'll show you this. Here you can see some of the rerouting of the rack wire is this one right here. Just gonna finish gluing it up and tightening it to the frame. That's it right there, extended. This is the sensor that will add in with the bolt already with the adapter to have oil pressure sending to turn on the relay for the radiator fan.
Okay.
And it's all pretty compact, straightforward.
Was that something you guys added on there? You welded it
but
on
it's
or something?
the original screw. All we put is an adapter T in case you want to put another sensor for something else. That's it. You can put a gauge, you put whatever you want.
Cool.
All we needed to do is sense oil pressure.
Have you put your lines in that you built the other day yet, or?
Yeah. It's not on them right now, but yeah, they're done. The lines are done.
You haven't put them in yet?
No, because it's all going to come out right now.
Right.
In a second. But yeah, those are done. And you can't see much of the electrical with the panel on, but
You haven't run
I made
the...
a quick disconnect right here, so when you remove this panel, you could just tip and just drop the pan.
Right.
Yeah.
This is sick, man. First you got to put that stuff on. Flux. You know what that's for?
Make sure the shit sticks.
That's heat shrink tube. Put that past, let it sit there until you're done.
So I put this thing on, I'll seal it up with that Hank shrink. This I'm just gonna push, splice, and get these wires mashed together here, if I can. You can use a coupler if you want. There's a million ways to do this. Solder flux.
The solder is going to flow all into that.
Sink it all along. Once it gets up to temperature, it will just absorb all the the solder and this thing will stick through. The last thing you want to do is just blob this shit up everywhere cold. Or have like drip marks.
Right.
That's no good. That's cold weld. I'm also trying to keep the shape and the bulk of this thing down to the minimum because it's a pretty fat wire. If I go crazy here with solid in the juncture, and the two relays are done, all I gotta do is just feed them power and signal to turn them on. I was gonna test the fans now before I even do that.
We've come up a long way since our first episode. We have an official light holder.
Lighting technician?
Lighting technician. Or an electrical technician.
Yeah. Checking up there.
We need a...
I think right there might be fine.
You got all the ground wires running to that one spot there?
Yeah.
And then that running to where the battery...
Jumps to the battery ground, yeah.
Battery ground?
Yeah. Like it has its own ground because it's already at chassis, but
Right.
if it wasn't enough, it has a direct, like this is as good as the battery point
Right.
because it's linked in. Like that. Like all those kits that they used to sell you to make 5 and 10 more horsepower is basically the same thing. It's because wherever the power source is, yeah, you have 12 volts, but everything goes from negative to positive. It doesn't go from positive to negative. But everybody's doing it right. That's why a ground is so important.
Right.
All the power in the world without proper grounding, it's erratic, it's dangerous, it short stuff. So, this will be power ground. To turn this one on, I'll probably use ground. The blue is ground. And for this one, I'll use power from the AC. I just need to feed both of these power. Ground. I'll put more loom over this thing.
You know why he's putting that stuff on there? Besides, it looks good.
Make sure nothing cuts and rubs the wires.
Yeah.
Should get color type.
When you got Hurricane Force winds rushing through this thing, you know, it's
I'm gonna cover.
kind of important that things are locked down solid. And
Put some more solder on it. Connect that. All I gotta do is find power ground to these two, and those things will either turn on or not. That's it. I guess they are straight. They are correct. Those are push, and these are pulls. It's actually wired, right?
are we done yet?
We're back to the FPL substation. Where do we solder next?
Is it done yet, Boris?
On the biological clock, sure. Shortly. Well, it'll have power by the end of today. That's a small plus.
You don't have power.
Yeah, I'll go finish hooking up the battery. Look, here's the starter lead and the two AC wires. I have to power up one of these relays.
So you got the whole underneath wiring done
Yeah.
for the battery?
Yeah, no, not from the starter. The only thing's missing from the starter to the battery. I'm gonna put the battery in and drop the cables, but I have to sweat the ends on the terminals right now. That's what he got these two for. Put these two on those ends on the inside and feed the cables and leave them hanging down, and then tuck the rest of the cables going forward, and then sweat the last ones underneath. I'm not gonna be able to sweat this inside the car.
Yeah.
It's gonna burn the trunk. So
Yeah, we don't want to blow the car up when
don't
we're this
wanna
close
blow
to finishing.
no fires, thank you. So yeah, that's pretty much all around here. Got another ground to go here. And that's done. And solder these three wires and go to the back because I already have the oil pump switch coming up and grounded. That turns on the radiator fans. Then now just this AC line. You have your car there, right?
Yep, it's positive on both terminals if that's what you're asking.
Not these two in here.
I know.
We need to test your AC.
Those two are positive.
Yeah, I already know
Always,
that.
yeah.
Let me get this light tester.
you doing, farm boy?
Thank you.
Fix the jet ski. It's summertime. I want to go riding. So which one is the wire you needed?
Black with white, the one on the left. That one's gonna
That's for the AC?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we need to invent a rotary token, cryptocurrency. We were talking about that the other day. We're going to accept Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, Rotorcoin, Wankelcoin, whatever. You had to go with the Magnum size shrink wrap then, huh?
XL. Yes. XL. You have to go XL on this one. Yes, sir. Doesn't come out perfect the first time. Every time. But that's okay. We come back. We make it perfect again. One scoop. Socket of the solder. Make sure when that wire goes in, it's one and one with the socket, not just like connected to it with a crimp.
Yeah.
Next contestant.
So you don't put any solder onto the end of that?
You don't have to put this on there. It just gives you a more guaranteed chance to penetrate the whole thing, because solder will stick to any surface, sort of, but since it's not very strong like a weld, it's all dependent on how much like adhesion you could actually get by the two metals. So if there's any contamination or corrosion or whatever, it'll want to like surface grab, and it'll be strong enough to the feel where it feels good, but electronically it's faulty.
Really?
That will short. If it's demanding for amperage, it's short. Like usually a gauge wire this size is demanding for amperage.
Yeah.
Even if you put a Walkman on it, you know, this is designed to run power through it. So if you don't, it takes a lot to not.
Right.
So if you have a bad little connection somewhere, that's why I flux it first. I try to get both sides to penetrate. This side's brand new, so I don't really need to dip this in solder. If I did, it would just spread and spill out, and it wouldn't look good like it was done correctly. But if this was an old piece of wire, I would flux it and put solder on this side first. Make sure I get it nice and chrome bathed. You know, guarantee good penetration. It's a cold weld, so you know if it's not done right, it's horrible. I'm also not trying to burn the crap out of the wire either. I'm just trying to get it to work. If I get it just right, the actual insulation ends up creating like its own little burned over seal at the edge of the collar.
Nice.
That's why, like, after you've done this a few times, you kind of see how this starts to happen and how much you don't need to do of anything. This thing's pretty solid. I pretty much tow a truck with another truck with this type of connection. It's solid. And in the marine world, if you don't have this, you're just waiting to have electrical issues.
Yeah, right.
Like on jet skis and boats. Oh yeah. If this is not the language you speak here, you're not going to communicate very well.
Did you do a little hole on it?
No, I don't do that. I fill up the bucket, I put it, and I sink it in all the way down, and I'm like, cool.
I always do that. That way, when it starts oozing out of the little hole,
coming out?
you know.
No, but I fill it up. This thing's full. The whole chuck is full. Half of the bottom. I know it's filled.
Then when I do, I take a big old sledgehammer and go BAM! That way it really can't go nowhere.
I'm just not as aggressive and violent as you.
Yeah, right.
Right now.
You're a rotary monkey.
Quite sedated at the moment, actually.
You're a
Things are
gas
very
monkey.
smoothly, very smooth. Yeah,
You're
very
an E85 monkey.
like boost monkey.
Yeah, I like the boost monkey.
Alright, we're just gonna do a split down the middle here. Nothing too. Just solid. I'll knock that off. So pretty much what you asked me, yeah, I guess I did it without doing it. They had already had it. I guess they pre-drill a hole so that it leaks out.
Yeah, it leaked out through the bottom. You were scraping it out.
I just noticed that because I scraped a little excess every time I've sweated one, and he's asking me if I had drilled it. I was like, I didn't drill nothing.
Yeah.
But it does have that.
They taught me that back in aviation.
Yeah.
So to drill a little hole on it. When
Well,
that
this
thing
has it pretty much.
is oozing out, when you shove the wire through it, just
You see, you confirm that you're pressing it
there
through.
you go.
Hot.
When it's still wet, the metal's still.
Yeah, but even so, it's just, you know, that'll never come out.
Well,
Loom through close to the factory access hole. And pull it down until I get. I guess until you see, I don't know you, like when you see the cables get to like right here, it'll stop.
yeah, here's the light.
Area is all where the trickery is, besides, you know, drilling the holes for the grommets there. So that's why like this kit will all be like cut off, add, drill a hole, extend. I mean, basic stuff anybody could do with a drill and a couple handfuls. Right here. All we gotta do is connect it, make it look pretty, and heat shrink it. I gotta put it even including through here. But as it turned out, it gets so tight, like the criteria of this whole car in here, that you might even have to loosen the tank to put 2 wires. So I got away from that. I drilled 2 holes. Let me see the light, Rich. I drilled 2 holes. If I can just find it, okay, right over here. I drilled 2 holes where the factory access panel is to the pump cables. I put 2 ground-mounted holes right there, and I went over the axle, the cross member, away from the axle, nothing in the access of the axle in case the axle breaks and cut off power. And then instead of going left like I wanted to with the fuel that way, I came right along the drive shaft on the outside of the shaft tunnel, along the e-brake cable on this side. And it brings me right up to the same location. So I'm going to route it with the clamps. I'm going to go the clamps onto the fire rail so we don't drill holes in the floor of the car. But I finished up all the relay work up here. I got the oil drain pickup, the switch, everything's already wired up. All I gotta do is re-loom and clean it up and make it look pretty, but it's functional. Obviously
these oil coolers are twice the size of the, well, I don't know about
93.
Yeah, they're a good 60% larger than the 3rd generation. I mean, they just put a gasket, put a pickup, put a regulator, finish putting these little studs in there, tighten it up, and
put it back in.
Put the motor back in. Yeah. I didn't do any of that crap because it's just a waste of time going in and out. We got to get this little thing in here. Finished up the we have to replace this
plate,
this cross member here, and make some little bushings to slide in here. I've got the material there.
I've got the plate right there. I didn't put the good one on.
Top of the fuel rail, injectors, wiring harness, it goes back in, ready to fire up.